pretty good.
Okay, that was good.
Okay, I think this is probably how
There
every
is
episode
internet
gonna
delay,
end.
by the way. That's the
There
real
is
thing.
internet delay. Yeah. So that's fair.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
And honestly, all we're doing is syncing the sound in the. Hopefully, that's even loud enough to
Yeah, I
It
hear
should
it.
make it
be.
dent.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I see it popping up in OBS. so
Now
it's
I've clapped
loud
100 times, so good luck.
Thanks, Portz. Thanks. I love it. Great. 10 out of 10. Now I gotta look for like, which fucking little shit is it?
If I'm not on topic at all, it's your fault.
Oh, fuck! Okay. I guess let's do the intro.
Welcome back to Lazy Susan Gaming. I'm lazy, that's Susan, and that's gaming. This is a discussion panel. It's like a book club, but it's about video games, and we're going to talk about them. You can play along with us. We'll tell you what the game is. This week's game, Bunny?
It's the beginner's guide.
Beginner's Guide.
It is. It's one of the greatest games. CK was one of the people that has not played it of the the three of us. Sorry. So what did you think, CK? Do you want to give us a
Well,
synopsis?
first of all, what's the game? What is it?
Beginner's guide.
No, sorry. What's the summary of the game?
So
That's her.
okay, as being the person in this group who has not played it,
Yeah.
my best way to describe the game is it is about a person who is showing off a friend of theirs games and talking through the process. And it's sort of about like game development and identity and all kinds of interesting topics. And I will say, I have so many thoughts on the game. I loved it.
Okay.
I loved
Maybe
it.
the most introspective game ever.
Yeah.
Even
like,
piece of media, maybe? I mean, it's incredible.
it's really fantastic. Like, I think my favorite thing about it, and I'm going to spoil it immediately, so
Yeah,
can I
that's
do
what
that?
this show is
Yes,
for.
yeah,
Okay,
do
thank
it,
God.
Do it.
So my favorite thing about it is that you have an unreliable narrator. I am such a fan of that. And I was like, I realized how much I love that because I was like going through and I'm making notes. I'm like, okay, this, like all my psychotic notes about like, okay, well in this section, it reminds me of these games and it, it makes me feel this way. And, walking backwards is like, progressing through life without blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like making all these notes. And by the time you realize you have an unreliable narrator, I was like, holy shit, nothing I wrote down fucking matters.
No.
I love that. I think that makes some people really mad.
Yeah.
But then I was
Yeah.
like, some of my favorite stuff is stuff that pisses me off, which is
Yeah.
like a weird thing to say. But like, I wrote down like some stuff that also had unreliable narrators that I absolutely loved, but also hated, which was like Soma was that way for me.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
Which I fucking love that game.
it's a fantastic game. Like BioShock is a game like that. There is an episode of Girls that made me so mad where Lena Dunham's character like recalled some fake story to someone to elicit sympathy out of them for some reason, which I don't remember, but it made me so mad. I turned off the TV and I sat there for a while and I just stewed over it. Like I was physically angry. And I was like, why am I mad? This is not a real person. This is not a real thing that happened. I was like, it's just really good writing. It's really good writing that it's pissed me off that much.
I felt more pissed off at Davey this time around.
Yeah.
Probably because I knew it was coming. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you're putting me through so much bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop doing this. Because he alters things along the way and like
Changes things.
I wrote down
changes the
this is
vision.
what did I write? It was it's my favorite use of unreliable narrator ever because it puts you in it. Like I don't know how many games explicitly do this. Soma is more like the character can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Or the situation. But this is specifically someone walking you through it. The whole game is this person's perspective, basically.
And then
And
they
you
break
can't trust
down.
it. But you don't know that until later. And it's it's aggravating.
Aggravating. So
But it's bold. Like I
so
like
good.
that he was willing to do all these things. Like just the idea of the game is crazy. I mean, he's the lunatic. He's Coda also, you know, like he built this weird ass game that you try to get your friends to play and most of them don't want to.
Yeah. That's me. Oh no.
That's what I'm saying. Take the hint.
Maybe that's why I related to Davey, my last couple playthroughs of this. So like this time, obviously I get mad at Davey and I get mad at the game too, in a sense. And I think it's because if anybody does genuinely feel mad or they stew over this, I think it's because they relate to Davey in this and because they are unreliable or they're changing things in somebody else's work and trying to pass it as their own. Because like he even says so. He's like, it made me feel really good when I showed people these games and I got something from it. There's got validation.
There's a tiny bit of when you show somebody some new music or a TV show, you feel like you did that.
Yes.
But you didn't do anything.
No.
So it's kind of fucked up to feel good about that.
Yeah. And I kind of feel that. And so like people are getting mad like at this game. And I think it's because they have that sense. They feel that need to present things or be that new guy, the hip guy or whatever, to constantly have new stuff to present to people so they get that validation, like they get that verification.
It's also pretty creepy. So
yes, it's parasocial.
Davey
It gets
describes
really
his
creepy.
own relationship with Coda. Like he didn't really reciprocate and I chased him kind of hard and it was weird. It's like, that's a feeling I can relate to as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have met somebody you look up to, but it's hard not to come at them a little harder than you should.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a parasocial relationship. I kind of saw that when I was playing through it again this
time. Coda was emailing directly the game, so he wanted that also a little bit.
I think he wanted some sort of validation, but because this person was also pestering, you can rely on that. It's like, oh, I can always rely on this guy because he'll always do it. Because he's always annoying and he's always there. And maybe they did have a good relationship. Maybe it was like looking up to them. So I watched a couple other people play this because I was curious and I wanted other takes besides just mine and Portz's and stuff just because this game.
Your new experience is not enough for us.
No, it is. I haven't heard all of it yet. So because there is so much to unpack in this game.
Actually, the first time I played this to talk about it on the podcast, I wanted to look it up because I was like, I think there's stuff I'm not getting. And obviously there is because it's up to interpretation, a lot of it. Yeah. But I felt too stupid to get it. I put too much pressure on myself to understand the game, basically.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those games where I want to play it again.
Yes.
Knowing now what I know from having experienced the entire game, I love doing that with like certain movies too. Like if there's a big twist at the end or like there are these little things peppered in that you didn't notice the first time. I love like going back and playing it and then looking for those clues along the way. Like for me, one of the turning points was when he's talking about how showing Coda's games to other people made him feel. And he starts to go on about that a little too long. He's like, it made me feel good. It made me feel really, really good.
I was just important.
Like, yes.
I was like, that's what because the first note I wrote down is Coda a real person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I wondered. And then like when it hit that point, I was like, oh, I think I understand what I'm playing now. And then I was like, okay, I'm in for this. And then like once you get to the very end, I don't know, it's just like I forgot where I was going with that.
It's okay. There's so much with this game. It is
There's
very
a lot.
hard to unpack. Like I literally
speaking of the sort of frustration of the unreliable narrator, the point for me that hit the hardest this time was the lampposts. When you read on the wall, stop putting fucking lampposts in my game. I got fucking mad. Yeah. Because I was like, dude, stop. I saw you do this along the way. I knew it was coming, but fucking stop.
Yeah.
I really felt fucking stop altering people's shit.
Stop altering people's shit and also
stop writing to BioWare that they need to fix the Mass Effect 3 ending.
Stop also forcing your narrative on somebody else too.
100%.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to.
There's a real temptation to use your own perception to solve everything. And that's a big part of what Davey was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even like the smaller sections when he was like, oh, you go through this area and it's a maze of invisible walls, so I'm just going to put a bridge over it so you can progress. And it's like, well, maybe the point was not to progress or to like work your, because here's the thing about stuff like that. There's always going to be someone who's going to figure it out, and there's going to be a guide on the internet in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe the point is not
that
just...
this is a real scenario, but things like that have gone viral for being like unbeatable or whatever, and someone finally does it. It's like this huge moment. You robbed that person of that giant moment, maybe or not.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those weird things to like have, and like you said, like at one point, Davey is asking Coda, it's like, why put an impossible task? Like when the first prison is there, and you go and you sit there for like an hour, as he said, but he sped it up for time's sake. He's talking about, it's like, why would you make games that aren't playable or meant to be played that way? Like, and so he sent him that joke folder of like hundreds of quote unquote playable games, and it was just walking around in a cube, and he said he played every single one of them.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think I like games like that. There was a game on itch.io recently that just got beat, that was known for being like notorious, and it was like this crazy level builder. I can't remember what it's called. I could see the artwork, and maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the thing, because it's like this insane labyrinth, and everything is constantly moving, and everybody comments on it. It's like, this game is so fucking hard to play because it visually attacks you. Like visually and stimulates you and stuff like that. And so, finally somebody just beat it.
CK, what was the first moment you realized something's not right here?
Oh yeah.
I think probably it struck me a little weird. You always have those moments like when you look, hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk to someone or something really bad happens, and then you're just like, oh shit. Then you're all of a sudden, it's like everything falls into place, and you're like, oh
the
no,
end
that
of a
checks
long,
out.
like bad relationship. You see the entire thing is bad.
Yes.
That's what's hard to pinpoint. Yeah.
So like my first like, this makes me feel a little weird, was when he was talking about how he went, because I think it's like the first time the narration sort of deviates from being like concise and like thought out, and it's the part where he talks about he met Coda at a game jam, and they he went over to go see him, and he was like, yeah, he was kind of resistant, or I forget what exactly he said, but he basically like pushed himself into that friendship, and that was the first point I was like, that's a little different from how the rest of this game has been. And then you're just, it's weird, but not weird enough for you to be like, now wait a minute. So that was probably the first thing that was like, that made me feel weird. And then the second one for sure was like when he was talking about how, I can't remember what order they happen in now actually, but the first one where I was just kind of like, it was a turning point for me, was when he said, showing people Coda's games made me feel really good. Yeah. And then he goes, it made me feel really, really good. And then he was sort of, I was just like,
I was trading sex for new video games.
That's where I was like, oh, well, something's not right here. Yeah. Now I know for sure something's not right. What about you guys? Was there like, do you remember like the first time?
I don't remember the first time. But this time it really struck me in the bubble message world, which is where he reveals how he pursued Coda. And but the thing that he said was, this lets me into Coda's mind. Like, you read these messages like, what? Why would you assume that what he wrote in this fucking game is his mind? That's insane. Yeah. Who would have that take?
So I think mine was when the stairway room, when you go up the stair and you get in that nice cozy room.
The slow one?
Yeah, and there's all the ideas
I went
there.
Slow the whole way, by the way.
Did you really?
Oh, I almost did.
And then I was
like,
this is one thing that kind of backfires from this coming from the Stanley Parable guy. I want to, like, have my expectations subverted. Like, I'd like him to be like, well, you can speed up if you want to, and if you don't, there's going to be another path through the game or something like that. There's that, like, I can't, even on my second playthrough, I can't get rid of that feeling of like, I want to betray this narrator.
I never thought of it that way. That's kind of funny. Yeah, both of his games have narrators.
And
One,
it's him doing it
neither
in
of
this
them are
one, right? I think.
trustworthy. Yeah, that is actually his
So one
voice.
thing that really threw me off is he sounds a lot like one of my favorite RuneScape creators. I'm not going to bring up RuneScape every episode, but I might.
It's your life.
But it threw me off because I was like, "Fuck, that's so weird." Because he creates videos, and it's
Yeah.
like I started to think about him, and it was an interesting little my own connection.
It's fair.
And Ports, I know that like you said on your second playthrough, every time you started seeing the lampposts, it made you like angry.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that you guys picked up on your second, third, fourth playthrough, whatever, that you didn't notice the first time through? Because I'm definitely going to play it again now with like the new perspective and everything. I'm like just kind of curious what you guys maybe picked up on in multiple playthroughs.
So
Go ahead.
So for me, like I cried the entire time my first time through because I related so much to Coda. What Davey was putting onto you as Coda, like constantly like needing to create, needing to be creative, constantly like just go, and then you're just like sitting there and like the machine game that you play, the machine where you're begging the machine, it's like, why aren't you working? We used to work, why can't we do this again? Just please do it. And then you destroy the machine, I sobbed the entire time, but like going through it again and having that impression with Davey, it felt less surreal, I guess you could say. And I don't know where I was going with the rest of that. But
no, I to pick up what you're putting down, I agree. Like it hit less hard because I knew it was coming. Like I had sort of already faced those demons, I guess.
The Coda demons.
In the second time, I was like more trying to pull something out of it than I was just experiencing it. So that's probably where the emotion comes from. Is just experience the game.
Yeah, because
I don't know. If it elicited any emotions, you don't have to say you cried or anything, but I felt much less emotional this time around, and so that I guess that was something missing from my second playthrough. And I don't. So to answer your question, I don't think there was like a material thing or like a thing in a level that I noticed, but there were feelings that were new this time. One was I think Davey and Coda are the same person.
I think we all thought that at one
I
point.
think that Davey represents the need for validation.
Yes.
And that is something that I struggle with a lot because I hate need for validation. Like it feels bad to need that, but you do need it. And it's the sort of struggle between those two things that really hit me this time, rather than like, oh, my creative energy is dead because that's not really how I feel right now.
Yeah.
But the need for validation and what to do with that, like how much room in your life can you have for that? Like how much of that should drive you? Like those are the things that really stuck with me this time.
Yeah, and also what you're willing to do to get that validation. Like
almost
what
nothing,
he did.
seemingly.
Well, what he did, like Davey changing the games.
No, I mean
and
me.
stuff like that. Oh, you. That's fair. Totally, honestly fair. But
I'm the one who cried content.
Yeah. I think, I had much more different emotions going through the second time, and like even the third time. Like I think I was mad. I think I was more angry than upset or sad and stuff like that. At the end of the first time playthrough, I was just like in shock. I was just
you guys, is there any part of you that relates to Coda a little bit from like the aspect
Davey's
of like
perspective
maybe
at the end?
your fans are a bit of Davey where they're like, you should play this game because it's important to me, and it's like that doesn't matter to me. It's not important to me.
I definitely have. I remember somebody, like one of my viewers, like way early in my Twitch days, was very adamant about me playing Corpse Party, which I know is a game a lot of people love. Personally, for me, I think it's one of the worst games I've ever played. But I was just like, there's got to be something redeemable in here. And the only thing I took away from that game was that you pee and shit yourself when you die, because that is the thing the game talks about constantly. And I was like, I don't know why. It's like you could say it once. People will remember. If they didn't know that already,
Like,
they'll remember.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have never played that. That's funny as hell.
I've seen it.
A lot of people like it. I got through the whole thing, and I was just like, at the end, I just like, and normally I can find something to love in a game. And in Corpse Party, I just couldn't. And it's like the only game I felt that way about. I just did not enjoy it. There was nothing in it that really like spoke to me.
Yeah.
Like kids killing themselves really bums me
Yeah.
out. Like a lot of stuff like that just
Christ.
does not.
It's a fucked game.
It's a really, really dark game.
So I
Yeah.
shouldn't
And-
do mushrooms and play that game, is what you're saying.
No, I would not.
I would
not.
not even play that high or drunk.
No.
It's super fucked.
Yeah.
It's super
It's-
fucked
it's-
in the head. Yeah.
It's very unsettling. And even still, like in certain games, on one of my playthroughs of Dragon Age, I romanced Liliana, who's like one of my favorite characters, but I did not
Absolutely.
enjoy the romance with her.
Right.
I wasn't into it. And people were like, oh, she's the best. And I was like, man, I just busted out like another fucking 50-hour playthrough of this game to romance a character I didn't even like that much. Like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I can definitely like relate to that push for like, and it's like I'm pretty open to trying most things and like going through, like especially in a game. Like I replayed all of Dragon Age Inquisition to romance Solus, and I could have just Googled it, and I didn't want to. I wanted to like experience that, but like that was something I wanted to do. I got something out of it,
Mhm.
but like romancing other characters or playing certain games, it just doesn't hit. And like talking about media and stuff, sometimes a game hits you at the right place and the right time to
Right
make
time.
you
Yeah.
to make you bawl or cry or get really
Yeah.
mad as you're
Yeah.
going through it. And like for me, like a movie that probably didn't make anybody else cry, a movie Skeleton Twins with Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig. Like I watched that movie and I have not ugly cried that hard in a long time. And something about it just hit me.
Those are
like-
not actors I would assume that would make a movie that would make somebody
No. And I just watched it to watch something kind of like goofy on a
Yeah.
weekend. And I cried my
Yeah.
ass off through that entire. And by the end, I was just like, like I was just exhausted. And it's not that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But there is something about it that like hit me. And like I understand too, like certain
Yeah.
games, experiences, media in general can hit people and they're like, oh, you have to play this.
Yeah.
And then you do, and you're just like,
And so what is that? Are you saying that's how you felt with this game?
yes. No. I didn't ugly cry through it. When Buddy said she cried through it, I was just like, oh God, I better
Yeah.
prepare myself. I was like, I'm going
No.
to do my makeup after I finish the game. I'm
Honestly,
gonna-
saying that maybe makes it less likely you would cry.
Yeah, I think I
Times.
warned people just to do it and stuff like that and be in the right place because when I played it originally, I was kind of in a dark place. Like COVID was happening, I lost my job, my relationship with my ex at that time was really bad, and I was the only thing I had was Twitch and streaming, and even that at the time, I couldn't bring myself to like fully throw myself into it because I was so depressed and just such in a bad way. And like I couldn't come up with anything creative. And so like when I forgot what level it's called, but I call it the breathy level is what my notes are. The breathy level where it's breathing and it's like it sounds like somebody taking deep breaths and then the level slowly appears in front of you and you do the
Oh,
the
is it the island
trees.
one?
Yes, the island
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when that starts going through and it's like talking about like it's like, oh right, we hate doing this, we hate doing everything, and like why can't you be creative, and you're just beating the shit out of yourself. That's when it just I was like, no, why? Yeah, I went and re-listened to part of that podcast that I was talking about it because I was kind of curious of how I felt. And I was just like, yeah, I just fucking ugly cried. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. But
Did you guys record that during the pandemic, like during lockdown? That
Yeah.
episode? Okay.
our podcast has been going since before pandemic and
Oh my
right before
God.
the
Now, yeah.
pandemic, yeah.
Missed 1 week, baby.
Nice.
'Cause he got sick.
Ignore the backlog. You can check it out. So it'd be nice if you listened once in a while, CK. So the bubble art in
Oh,
the
yeah.
messages level has the same conclusion from Davey as the perfect teacher level, which
Oh,
is stuff from afar looks perfect, and then
yeah.
close up things are messy.
Yeah.
Now, that made me think like sometimes you're just either you're looking for a specific answer to something and so you insert your own, or more positively or optimistically, you find the meaning that you need in your life through whatever, because things are interpretive, most things, and I thought that was like kind of a cool thing. It's like you're gonna find what you need in whatever the fuck you're looking at, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great messages in each of those games, because that was all the notes that I made. And like as soon as like they sort of revealed about the unreliable narrator, that's when I was just like, oh shit, none of these notes matter. But there is like really good messages about like life and experience in each one of those.
Yeah.
And I think they all sort of do tie into Davey.
Yeah.
In some way, like the stuff I kept just writing down like keywords, but it's like connection and validation. And then I wrote down all these like coping mechanisms and things like that.
Yeah.
Like the door lock puzzle. But yeah.
What would be so fun is to play through that game without the sound on and come up with your own explanation for each level.
Oh, that would be cool.
Be a fun video idea.
That'd be kind of interesting for sure, and then do your own.
It'd be really hard now that I've played it twice to not just copy what Davey did. But...
That's fair.
Maybe have somebody who has never played it do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Force them to do it.
When you guys played it, did you play it with subtitles on or subtitles off?
I don't play anything like on my own with subtitles on.
Okay. I played with them on.
If they're on by default, they might just be on. But I wasn't really looking at them.
I don't think it was on by default.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because like for me, that's sort of I have a hard time paying attention. So like
fair.
Yeah, for there to be subtitles, like I can read ahead and it helps me like focus on other things. Or if I'm focused on something else, I can always catch up on the subtitles real quick or something. Right. So I watch like everything with subtitles now. It's gotten so bad.
I flip-flop because yes, it helps me understand the thing, but also it turns the experience into only the words.
Yeah.
Like it does pull your attention.
It's really hard to like separate. Like this is a game that I'm playing, and I want to like look around and see all the shit. So I find that subtitles mostly distract me from the rest of the experience. So I try not to use them. But I 100% agree. It's way harder to follow.
Yeah. Like I started playing the game with no subtitles on, and then I was worried I was missing something because I was just wandering around staring at stuff. So I turned the subtitles on.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go back through like the second playthrough. I want to play it with the subtitles off so that I'm more focused on the environment and like picking up on, and not that there's like clues scattered throughout, but to make it more of an experience rather than like, oh, this is a game I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I noticed something that I've never seen before. My playthrough today was this bubble in the bubble world, and it's extra long, so you have to look at it just right in order to read it all. But it's talking about somebody seeing a penguin and how it was the most majestic thing ever, and that nothing else will matter because they've seen the most majestic thing, and so they're gonna just go basically end it all. And they're on their way to do it and stuff, and it's just this long string, and I'm just like, what the fuck? How come
the penguin is a metaphor for Dragon Age? I think that's somebody who's played Dragon Age.
Oh my god, Coda loves Dragon Age, confirmed.
Yes, one of us.
One of us. Out of all of the games, because there is so many messages throughout these games and stuff like that, was there one message or one game that conveyed a message that you guys liked the most?
I don't have a particular reason other than it's just wacky, and it was used like 4 times, but Cabbage forms our nation.
Yeah, I saw
ridiculous, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
That wasn't there a bunch of... I found it twice, and I was like, oh, okay, I've seen this person when I've played a Souls game leave the same message over and over again. We're playing Elden Ring, all the dog ones next to turtles. It does have that feeling of like prefixed... That message specifically. A lot of them share a bunch of... Or not share, but they go off on those long, weird penguin tangents. But some of them share a bunch of like words, so it feels like something that was pre-formed. Like you can only select from these sorts of messages, and that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is really weird when you start to think about somebody who actually made that game that actually typed all those messages. That's really weird to me. Yeah.
There was a lot of messages.
And also to misrepresent it like that, they're like, yeah, online players can type these messages.
It's like,
He's
no.
probably figured out
No.
these are just him being insane.
I love like those bare title screens and it just said like this is an internet game or something like that.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
an
you know
online.
what sucks? The ratio I played, the ultra wide,
Mhm.
actually broke those messages in between
No!
the title cards.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love the title cards. I love like
Ready,
a basic.
set,
Showed like the
fish.
first 3 words and then it cut off the last one. It was
Oh,
weird.
bummer. That's
Yeah,
kind
the
of a
title cards
bummer.
are great.
Yeah.
Bunny, were you asking about messages or were you asking about like game segments?
Well, I was talking about messages because there was one that I found was tables were invented in 1935, which I thought was the funniest shit. To where I just wrote it down today. I was like, I haven't seen that one before. Okay, and tables were invented in 1935, but like, but also like I was also thinking positive messages, like the actual like overall, not like okay.
Yeah, like lesson, like
Here, let me tell you
the
mine.
sort of
Yeah, the
parables
lesson,
or whatever.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
parable or the lesson in the thing. I think
Yeah.
my favorite one that I played, and I've played it. I've gone back and I've just played this one. Is the escape? It's the last prison game that he makes, which is where you escape and you call yourself, right, who's still stuck in prison.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think so many of us, because of like uncertain times and uncertain things, and like I said, I was playing this during the pandemic, so like wanting to go back or like call yourself in the future, be like, hey, is things still shit out there or are we still trapped? You know?
Yeah.
And kind of wanting to just know that things are gonna be okay. And I think that's my favorite one. Out of
One
all
thing
of
I
them.
took from that specific one before you move on from that,
Yeah.
if you were going to,
No.
that is sort of how I solve anxiety now. Is like, we've been through this before. Remember, look back. That was fine. It's gonna be fine now.
Yeah.
It's like such an
Mhm.
easy solve, but you do have to like
You have to talk to
recall
yourself.
specific examples of
Yeah.
we've been here before. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally
And yes,
have
I
to
say
talk to
we
yourself.
when I'm thinking.
He is the formative. Yeah, I think that one was my favorite one because it's sort of like something that you don't think about, but you also like everybody would be like, oh yeah, if I could talk to myself in the future, I would do it in a heartbeat, sort of
This
situation.
is, I don't know if you guys have that, but so I have a lot of friendships where we don't talk about anything important and they're great,
Yeah,
but
Mhm.
sometimes it's really nice to dive fucking deep into life and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's what this game feels like.
Ooh,
It feels
yeah.
like, yeah, it's really fun to fuck around in Red Dead 2 and that's great, but this feels like a healthy meal, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I
refreshing.
this like playing through and like each of these different like game segments like repeatedly brought up like instances in my life where I felt like I learned something or like got through something like the series of prison escape games. Like for me, I wrote down like, oh, like he's making these games as a coping mechanism and you're just
Yeah.
trying things over and over again until something works, or if it doesn't work, you go back and you do something different.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that reminds me of like a student film I made when I was in college and my aunt had dementia and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I wrote a student film about dementia. And that was my way of working through it. And
Mm.
so like it kept
Oh,
bringing up memories of stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So Coda's like going, because I was always in the back of my head, like Davey's talking about like,
Yeah.
oh, his games were changing and like he took 2 months to make this game and then this game took 7 months for him to make. And in the back of my head, I was like, well, what's going on in Coda's life? Does he have like an
Right.
abusive partner? Is like, did somebody die? Did
Yeah.
he like get a new job? Like, what's going on in Coda's life? And Davey was not asking those questions. So
Yeah.
like,
Although, yeah, 100% that's true.
yeah.
Which pissed me off a little bit because it's like you claim to be
You're
friends with this person.
Yeah,
best
but
friends
You're
and admire this
only
person.
interpreting things in the game. You
Mhm.
don't have any other relationship with them outside of this. It's insane.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Has to happen to each of us one time during this.
Exactly.
This is gonna happen every time.
Oh, perfect. It's gonna be the forgetful podcast.
No, okay, I got it. Okay,
Okay,
so
go
you
ahead.
said that Coda came back from X amount of time,
Mm,
right?
Yes.
And it got a little bit longer.
Every
There
time.
was I think there were 2 stretches of 6 months, but it got longer. And one of them, I noted the cleaning one.
Yeah.
That level was, the architecture was significantly not architecture, but like landscape, I guess, was significantly less boxy than the rest, and
Yes.
it felt more like a real place. I was like, maybe they're just taking more time to do the thing. Maybe they're just getting better at it.
Yeah.
You know, that's an equally valid thing. They don't have to be going through something. Also, progress is happening, I think.
Yeah.
And Davey didn't acknowledge that at all.
No, he didn't acknowledge it.
Instead, he's like, I'm going to open these windows so that you can actually get out of this house and complete the game.
Yeah, you're
He's
not
like,
supposed to
"Let me
repeat
unlock
this
this for you."
forever. Yeah.
Another thing that pissed me off was the puzzle, the door puzzle. He's like, I think Coda uses this because it's like a simple, you know how to progress now. It's like solving, it's like a coping thing. It's like, no, maybe he just didn't want to think of another fucking puzzle. Dude.
Yeah. He just likes that puzzle. It's a placeholder because he never released any of the games. So it's like, maybe he just threw it in there to like change it later. Who knows?
I am not going to be able to find this because Bunny and I DM way too much on Discord. But I asked ChatGPT to summarize the beginner's guide recently.
Oh, you sent me that a while ago. Yeah.
And they nailed it. They were like, hey, Davey, sometimes a box is just a box. That was in there. You know, obviously there was a lot more than that, but I was like, holy shit. That was the moment where I felt like ChatGPT is really something.
It's going to take over the world.
Like, they know about this specific weird game.
Yeah.
And they can interpret like what people feel when they play the game. It blew my mind.
Wild.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a special game.
Choking over here.
Yeah.
It kind of
literally.
It kind of took me by surprise how much it made me think.
What was your expectation of the game? Did you know anything about it, or other than it made Bunny ball her eyes out?
I knew that. And I knew that it was about like exploring someone's video games they created.
Okay.
Their collection.
That was all I knew.
Okay.
So, I like I said, I love an experience that can surprise me, make me mad, make me bawl my eyes out over a Bill Hader movie, like anything like that. I love a surprise like that. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that about this game and how many times it made me like reference things in my own life that I'd been through, or you know, like even like simple concepts I like learned through therapy, like coping mechanisms and stuff like that. I know I keep bringing that up, but like that was a big pivotal moment for me in therapy, was realizing what my coping mechanisms were and why I started having panic attacks. It's like, oh, because my coping mechanisms weren't working anymore. So like I had to change something in my life. And so, you know, it's all like a puzzle. Like your whole life is a fucking puzzle. And like one of the things I wrote down is like figuring things out is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. Yeah. And you're shit at Rubik's Cubes. Like you're sitting there and you just keep turning it and you're like, I don't fucking know how this is going to turn out. I don't know how to fix it. But you have to keep going. You just have to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the very first things that I wrote down while thinking about this game and playing it today, this game literally makes you feel guilty for playing it and constantly makes you question not only life but yourself, like just constantly. And yeah, you definitely reference things that you're going through or that you've been through, or how Davey interprets coda, and then you interpret that and then put that on yourself at the end of the day, I think. But yeah, it's an intensely personal game, and it sneaks up on you. Yeah.
Like you think you're just playing a game about someone who made games, and like, oh, I just want to memorialize. I want him to email me and have him make games again. And then all of a sudden you're just like, I remember when I found out my parents had no idea what they were doing.
When I was first playing this game, I thought the twist was going to be that Coda was dead. And I was like, oh my God. But it was turned out to be so much worse than that.
It turned out to be so much worse
for me personally, because I don't know him.
Yeah. There's so much like speculation around this game, and Davey's very quiet about it on the whole thing. I remember when
because that's the guy's actual name.
Yeah,
right?
that's his actual name. It's his actual email. That's his actual voice and all that other stuff. And so like people are like, is Coda real? Like, is he a real person? Is this based on real things, or is this just Davey?
No chance. No shot.
And stuff. I don't think so. I think it's just a beautiful story, like told.
It's an incredibly insightful thing.
Yeah.
That you can't. It's like a metaphor for how humans internalize things, and
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's the most. That's how I'm gonna interpret it forever because it landed that way. But yeah, it feels like a lot of the stuff in that game, like a level or what, like him talking to Coda or expecting something from Coda, like felt like me, like berating myself or just expecting different things. Like, why didn't this go better? Like, what are you doing? Like, talk to me. But there's like you try to find this motivation in yourself or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's not showing up by you just thinking about it. It's fucking awesome. I think he's got an amazing fucking talent for understanding people.
Yeah. It's
For
Which
sure.
I did not know about the Stanley Parable guy. Dude. Like, what a double fucking talent that guy has. Because that game is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. He's a good writer. He's genuine. I wish he would do more shit.
I was just gonna ask, does he have any
I
other
wish he would do more
games?
shit. You're such a Davey, you piece of shit.
God damn it, buddy!
I'm so sorry. I know.
He's not emailing you games.
He's not emailing me games. He didn't respond to me. Although when I did post on Twitter about it, it was like, I just played Beginner's Guide for the first time and I just lost everything and I cried my eyes out. He liked it.
That's so validating.
I was
Yeah,
like, who the
that's
fuck is this
awesome.
Kate Davey? I was like, oh.
Oh.
That is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I love you.
That's what I wanted to happen. I just want to make people cry, and you're like, what?
He's like, you're really thinking way too hard about this whole thing.
He's like, yeah, you're fucking,
I wrote that in a day while I was high.
But yeah, I guess any final thoughts on Beginner's Guide?
So there were a couple levels that I wish were really games, like the luxury cliff prison. I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe as a Hitman game or something, but like, why is there a luxury prison on a cliff? Like, that would be a fucking awesome place to explore. Who goes there? Who's imprisoned there?
That's fair. Yeah. Maybe Martha Stewart. I don't know.
Yeah. That's why it looks so good.
Obviously. She knows what she's fucking doing, changing those sheets every goddamn day.
She's on it.
Yeah. Everyone should play it.
That's mine too. Play it twice.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely play it twice.
If you listen to all of this without playing it, you're insane. You should play it.
Yeah, you're nuts. Don't do that.
I've tried to get so many people to play this game, but I have warned them. I'm like, I cried my eyeballs out. You're going to interpret it differently. And I told Portz that too. And I was like, be ready. Be emotionally ready.
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that, let's see, it was Walking Dead Season 1 that made me cry in this game. I think those are the only two games.
Yeah.
Walking Dead Season 1 made me cry too. That and
it's so
Edith
hard.
Finch.
The
What
funny
remains of
thing is,
Edith Finch.
I don't know what it is about the daddy-daughter dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't want kids at all. There's not a shred of my bones that wants kids, but for some reason that relationship dynamic hits me, which some Freudian believers would probably say that I do want kids secretly, but I really don't.
No. You got cats. It's fine.
Yeah, you get cats.
I don't really like them either,
Well, if you don't feed them, you're not going to go to prison, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, maybe.
Am I going to be in the luxury cliff prison?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. You're going to be in the grimy dungeon hole.
Pound
the
in
fucking
the ass.
bottom of the well.
Yeah, pound you in the ass prison.
Yeah, pound you in the ass
Oh,
prison.
Jesus. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, you just keep chugging that wine over there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to make toilet wine in prison.
There you go.
There you
You
go.
get real good at that. All right.
Yeah.
So let me fuck up my screen again.
Oh,
and
okay.
do everything. Are we ready? Are we
We are.
ready?
Oh, yes.
To
Yes.
spin.
Yes.
Oh wait, before we do this,
Is there a way
yes.
for me to see this, or do you just we trust you?
She can screen share.
Yeah, I can
we just
screen
trust. Not one of us has trust issues. It's fine.
It's fine, especially after talking to Davey.
If you didn't play Beginner's Guide, we played it all on Steam. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I put a little blurb in the thing at the very end. Steam.
Oh,
and
perfect.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else we wanted to add to this? I have Elder Scrolls Redguard. I got Wolfenstein New Order. I got Somerville, Signals, Planet of Lana, and Immortality.
That's 2 each, right?
I believe.
I think that's how
Mostly.
we should keep it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
We don't want it to wait one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle them. I'm gonna share my screen. This is gonna fuck up, and I'm gonna cut all this out. It's fine. Worst parts to edit. I was like, why did I do this to myself? And I hated myself. Okay.
Nice.
Big money, big money, big money.
All right, are we ready? Are we ready? I'm gonna turn off the sound this time because
It was loud. It was
a
so
little
loud.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, let us.
We can do our own sound effects.
Okay, you want to make the sound effect?
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Click. Bing, 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 bing. Signalis.
Hell yeah, Signalis! I believe this is still
What the fuck is this?
on the Xbox. This
It is on Game Pass.
This game looks beautiful.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I've been
I'm
paying for
excited.
that and don't play anything on it. So
I kind of
I
forget
think that's
about
their
it.
whole business model.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I'm
every
good at it.
subscription, dude. Disney Plus got me for Mando season 2, and I haven't looked back.
Oh God,
Season 3 sucks balls. I don't know if you guys have seen it. But
I haven't
it's
seen it yet.
It's pretty good.
Don't.
Oh yeah, this game.
No, it's bad.
It's all right. Look, it's gonna go back to the old format. It's fine.
I didn't think anything could make me hate Jack Black, but it did.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that about my man. Don't say that about my man. Yeah, okay, so this is the cyberpunk game.
No. This is the Resident Evil-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
This looks beautiful. Why are you crying?
Because I fucking hate the fixed
Quit
camera
crying.
Resident
Quit
Evil.
crying.
I hate them.
Just look
You'll
at
be
how
fine.
pretty it is. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right.
I'm gonna send you 30 different video files for when I try to boot up the game and hate it.
Yeah. I don't know how long it is to beat, but we'll figure it out.
I want to say this might be one that we can't do the day of.
No,
This seems to
10
be our
hours.
MO.
10
hours. Okay.
This is
Okay.
this is the
All
max.
right. All right.
All right. So we got our new game picked. All right. I guess that's
So play along, please.
please
We'd
play
love-
along.
We'd love your
Subscribe to
feedback.
Game Pass. They need your money.
Yes. There's a tiny little indie game studio called Microsoft, and
If
they
you-
are
if enough
struggling.
people subscribe to Game Pass, the next game from the studio, Arcane Studios, will actually be good.
Oh. Well, that's
No
a
more,
hot take.
no more Redfalls.
Damn, shitting on Redfall.
Well, you know, it was
still.
Redfall that made fucking. Or it was Arcane that made Redfall, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys play it?
Yes, I did.
Oh wow! Did you beat it? I have
No,
not played
of
it yet.
course Not.
Of course not.
What kind
Okay.
of ridiculous ass question is that? See you next time.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. Follow along. Play. We'll see you guys next time. Okay. Bye, everyone.